Hi, my name is JD and I'm the 2025 Malaysia Rhodes Scholar and this is Lepas Sekolah.
What was your ambition when you were growing up?
Okay, my ambition when I'm growing up is actually to be a Minister of Education. I think I answered this when I was in secondary school, and the main reason behind is I always watch all this TV, all this newspaper, and very inspired by all this minister. Like they have the decision rights to make policies and so on. So that's what really got me interested and also passionate about lah. Yeah.
All right, JD, which secondary school did you go to?
I attended a boarding school at Melaka called College Yayasan Saad.
And College Yayasan Saad is obviously a full-on boarding school. And how was it coping being away from home at such a young age?
Uh, so I think I was there since I'm 13 years old. So how does it feel? Definitely a lot of homesick in the beginning, but then eventually I think I start to adapt it, and it really helps me to become more independent and then make a lot of friends with a bunch of friends that really stick together because mainly we stay in the dorms together, we do all the funny stuff together, so the bond is really strong. It was tough at first because I still recall like when I first joined the school, right? I was actually crying in the toilet, calling my parents and telling like I want to go back home. So I think these are the things that you will go through when you join a boarding school.
JD, for those who might not have attended a boarding school, can you describe what life at a boarding school is?
Yep. I think life in boarding school is really a place for you to really just grow and learn. And the reason why I say that is because your daily schedule is actually all planned out, meaning you don't have time to think about what you want to do next, even your Saturday and Sundays. So that's one thing. It really makes you grow because everything is well planned out for you. And then I think the second thing is really on independent, as I mentioned before, because I think it really makes you independent, as in you don't have your family to go back to. You're just, everything you need to go through your own. You need to buy food for yourself, make sure you study on yourself and so on, right? So I think a lot of independence and also disciplines lah. Yeah.
And how do you think boarding school has shaped you as a person?
I think boarding school has shaped me into a person that is quite independent. That means even after I graduate from high school, right, I eventually went on right after to go do my internship at quite a young age because I just finished my SPM, but I already started my internship. And all that reason behind is because I did a boarding school, so I was actually quite comfortable to leave my parents behind, not leave my as in like live to be independent lah. So that's one. I think the second one, college yayasan specifically, is the mindset because I think in this school you are paired with a lot of young talented students. So at the same time, all of them have this growth mindset, and then you have this group of people who share the same passion for education and so on. So it really helps to motivate you to become a better person. Yeah.
And what did you take for SPM? Was it science stream or art stream, and why?
I took science stream for SPM, and the reasons behind is just because I think they were very good science teachers back in the school, so I really want to learn from them. So I took science stream. Yeah.
JD, what advice do you have for doing well in SPM?
Personally, what works for me is a lot of memorization. So you need to go through the hard work to actually read through your textbooks or your reference book and so on. And another thing is really be close with your teachers because I think the teachers will be more willing to teach when you're willing to learn, right? So just be very close with them and then ask them more questions. And then I think the third one is really do more past year papers because by doing all these past year papers and exercise, especially for subjects like mathematics, it really helps you to build your memory to actually do well in exams lah. Yeah.
And what was the most challenging aspect of your secondary school life?
For me, I think there's two most challenging part. One is I actually had an accident when I was in Form 1. So I broke my femur. So during the high school, right, I actually need to use crutches for 4 years, 3 to 4 years. So, moving around the high school was actually quite tough for me because you're just on crutches and you still need to be independent at the same time, right? So that's the one thing. And then I think the second thing is when we are in secondary school, right, then there's like puppy love and so on. So you'll be you fall in love at that age. So I think the dating life was part of the challenge during my secondary school life. Yeah.
And how do you end up doing for SPM?
So I didn't do too well for my SPM, and the reason because I missed a lot of classes because I was recovering from a femur fracture. So I only got nine A's, 1B.
After SPM, where did you head for pre-university and what path did you take?
So for pre-U, I actually wanted to go for either matriculasi or Asasi, and eventually I went for Asasi Science Pertanian at UPM, University Putra Malaysia.
And of all the pre-university courses available, why did you choose to do Asasi?
I think the main reason behind is because I got rejected for matriculation. So I didn't get a placement for matriculasi, and then Asasi UPU was kind enough to offer me a place for Asasi. So that's why I decided to go for Asasi. And I think the main important part is that Asasi and also matriculasi, obviously I didn't qualify for overseas program. But then in terms for Asasi and also matriculasi, they are 1 year as compared to STPM, which is tougher, and then it also take a slightly longer time, which is 2 years lah. Yeah,
How was the Asasi environment like at UPM?
I would say it's quite intense, the environment during Asasi, and the main reason behind is because they are trying to cram all the stuff that you need to learn in like STPM into 1 year, right? So it becomes quite packed. So your schedule is actually more packed as compared to my degree life in UPM. Yeah.
Do you feel the SPM prepared you adequately for your Asasi?
Yep, I do think SPM did help me prepare a lot for Asasi, and the main reasons behind actually a lot of things that we learned during SPM is repeated in Asasi, so that helps a lot with like adapting the whole 1 year foundation program. Yeah,
What do you think are the qualities someone needs to succeed at Asasi?
I think during Asasi phase, you really should focus on your academics first. Because why I say so is because your Asasi results are gonna determine which degree you're gonna get later. So I think the quality is really be disciplined, and then really put your hours into academics lah. Yeah.
And on a lighter note, what was your fondest memory at UPM Asasi?
I think my fondest memory is because Asasi is like a Science Pertanian foundation program, meaning it's more related to farming. We have all these classes, all these ladang classes, right? So I think my fondest memory is playing with all the cows and goats at the ladang lah. Yeah.
JD, after Asasi, where did you pursue your degree and in what course?
So I pursue Bachelor of Software Engineering at UPM.
Why UPM and why software engineering?
Why UPM is because I did my foundations there, so I basically don't have any other choices to go to any other university. So UPM was the only choice. And the reason why I choose software engineering is because I think at that time I'm very interested in entrepreneurship, and then I enjoy playing chess a lot. So I thought that playing chess is quite similar to programming, right? So I decided to take software engineering as my degree. Yeah.
Talk me through the process of applying for the software engineering course at UPM.
Okay, so the application process could be quite different from the others that apply through UPU, because mainly we are from Asasi, right? So Asasi people actually get a special application portal that you can just apply directly and then pick your courses, or only in UPM. So you can list down what is your top choice, and up to 5 choices, I think. 3 to 5 choices.
What is the minimum requirement to secure a place at UPM for your course?
If I can recall for myself, for those study in foundations, basically as long as you have a decent GPA, I think anything above 3 pointers, then you actually able to apply for the course. Yeah, then it depends on the faculty whether they want to take you in. So there's no interview process in between. It's just purely just based on your submission, and then your academics results. Yeah.
And what is the structure of your course at UPM?
So the structure of my course is quite similar to other degree courses in public university. So it's total of 4 years, and the first 3 years is really focusing on courses like classes. You need to go through to learn different subjects in programming, and then towards the end, then you have a 1 final year project, and then a practical internship of around 6 months. Yeah.
Walk us through how you prepared for your classes and your tips for performing well.
For classes, right, I think it's really you need to be curious about it. You cannot just learn what the teachers teach in class, because especially for this course, right, the software engineering course, you should actually be more proactive to go learn from YouTube and so on, because I think knowledge these days are so accessible. So you should actually be proactive and then learn beforehand before you attend the classes, and I think that really helps you to perform well in your degree.
Do you think it is possible for someone to be proficient in software engineering through just learning online, meaning online courses, without going to university?
Yeah, I do think it's possible to learn programming through online classes without going to university. I'm speaking just very specific for computer programming, because just programming is a skill sets that you learn through practice, and then you can actually learn online through YouTube and so on. So it's not necessary you need to go to uni. In fact, I know a lot of my friends out there who are very successful, who did not really go through the university, and they are still very good with programming, right? But at the same time, of course, university is a place that can make sure that you really study through stages. So if you don't have a very high self-discipline, a very high curiosity for programming, then I think you really need to go through the university path lah. That's better for you.
And JD, in hindsight, is there anything you would have done differently in university?
I will not do anything more like anything different from the current one. Yeah, I will just still do the same thing. That means go do a lot of internships, go be participative in hackathons, always step out of my comfort zone, and I think that really helps me to grow during my university phase. I think if I really want to say one thing is probably be closer to my lecturers, because when you spend so much time outside with all these curriculum activities, the amount of time that you have with lecturer is a bit lesser lah. So I think that's probably one thing that I would change, is to really bond with the lecturers.
Aside from academics, were you involved in anything else during your undergraduate years?
Yep. So other than academics in my undergraduate degree, right, I actually did a lot more things other than just studying. So I think two things to focus on. The first one is internships, right? So I think most people will just stick with the curriculum that the university prepared for you, which is one compulsory internship. You can step out of your comfort zone, go try more things. So for me, I actually did around 8 internships. So for every semester break, I'll make sure that if I'm not going for any trips or holidays, then I'll use that time to apply for internships or go, practice my internship in any of the companies that I want. And then I think the second thing is really be more participative in competitions, or like have more leadership roles. For example, you can run for the student councils, or for competition, just go for any programs, and then eventually when you're comfortable, then you can start joining those university students competition, because there's a lot of competitions out there just for university students.
JD, you're currently working as an associate consultant, which is quite a shift from software engineering. When did you start thinking about applying for consulting roles?
So I actually started to pivot into business side and then consulting side when I was in university itself. So at first I thought that I'm very passionate about programming, but then once I joined all these startup competitions, all these hackathons, right, I realized that I'm actually more interested in the business part of things. Like when we are building a product, I'm always thinking of how to commercialize that product. So that's where I decided to give consulting a try. And then at the same time, I do have a few mentors that are in this industry. So I spoke to them. I realized it's something that I want to do, and that's why I started to apply for consulting roles rather than software engineering roles.
And when you first started looking for jobs, what was your biggest consideration? Was it work-life balance, salary, location?
I think for most of us, salary plays a very important part. So for me, my first criteria is definitely salary first, just because we are very fresh from uni, right? We are craving for like some independence financially. So I think that's where salary is the most important criteria. And other than that is the learning opportunity. So we want to be in a company or a firm where you get to always try new things, learn new things, right? If you are just doing the same skill sets, or like doing the same thing over every day, and that's why you realize that you don't get to grow as much. So I think two of my criteria is learning and also salary.
Would you say there was a lot of skills that were transferable from software engineering to consulting?
Yep, I would say there are some skills that are transferable, especially nowadays in consulting. There's a lot of data analytics that's required. So this is where your programming skills come in, right? So in programming classes, we learn some basic SQL language and so on. So this really helped with my data analysis process.
JD, what does your role as an associate consultant entail?
Okay, so to give some context, right, associate consultant is like the working level in any consulting firm. So your main job is really focusing on understanding the client's problem, and then once you understand it, you look into the data, you do data analysis either through any analytics platform, and eventually you churn out decks. So making it in a very well storyline presentation. So as my role is just to make sure there's no error in between, and then everything is well analyzed and well storyline. Yeah.
When you first started working, what were your expectations and what are the realities?
I think my expectation was that it will be way more hectic. So at first, when I heard of this industry, right, I thought like people are working like 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. But then after I joined the company, I realized that's not the case every day. There are days that you are busy, but there are days that you also get good work-life balance. So I think don't get scared away by what people are saying about that industry. Yeah.
All right, for a lot of young people, they want to make a tangible impact in the world with their career. Do you feel the same way? And if so, do you think your current job satisfies that criteria?
Correct. Yeah, I do agree that tangible impact is very, very important because at the very end, right, it's something like whether you like the job or not. If you really don't like the job, then you won't be even motivated to wake up and even like attend course or go online, right? So I think that's very important. I agree with that. And for my role, I do see that there's tangible impact because whatever consultation that we provide to our clients, we can eventually see it live in a few months. So I think that is something very satisfying.
JD, what's the best part about your job?
I think the best part of my job is to really get to analyze data and then eventually put into a well storyline presentation. And this really helped me to think through what is the best way to actually, project insights or even storyline something, as I think this is a very important skill sets in life. Yeah.
JD, first of all, congratulations. You were the recipient of the coveted Rhodes Scholarship. Can you tell us what the scholarship is all about?
Okay, so Rhodes Scholarship is basically a postgrad scholarship for you to study your master's or any postgrad studies at Oxford for a period of 2 years.
And how does one apply for the Rhodes Scholarship and what are the requirements?
So I think in terms of application, you can actually apply online. I think the application are usually open from June all the way to September, but I think it varies. So you really need to check out the Rhodes website. And in terms of the minimum requirements, I think is one should have I think your age at first. There's a certain age requirement. If not mistaken, is 25 years old and below. So that's one. And another thing is on your Rhodes value. So if you want to apply for Rhodes, of course you should look through what are the Rhodes value and then see whether you have those values. So the application process was quite direct. So for me, I saw it on Yayasan Khazanah's social media page. So when you see that, it actually brings you to a website, right? And then at that stage, you will just need to submit your IELTS result. IELTS result is one thing, or any other equivalent test results, and then a few more documents. And then the main thing is recommendation letter and also your personal statement. So personal statement is the main thing, and then also 5 recommendation letters from teachers, lecturers, or any employers that have worked with you before.
What are some expectations you have about studying at the University of Oxford?
I think in terms of expectation, I hope that I can meet a lot more like-minded people and then a lot more talented people as well, because I feel at Oxford, they are probably the one that is closest to the source of the education. Like everything that they, like probably if you read a research here, right, it's probably written from them. So at there, you can actually speak to the source of the education itself. So I think that's one of my expectations. Hope to make friends and then also meet all these talented people.
And what are the 2 programs you will be pursuing at Oxford?
So I'll be pursuing a 1+1 program. So it's a 1 Masters in Science and then a 1 MBA program for a period of 2 years.
And why do you choose these 2 programs?
I think the main reason behind is really to do an MBA because it really relates back to consulting, and then I also have a passion for entrepreneurship. So that's the main reason. And then I think the first 1 year will really helps me to adapt into the Oxford study life. Yeah.
JD, Rhodes Scholars exhibit this trend whereby they go on to change the world. Which brings me to the next question. What are your plans after Oxford? What is the big dream?
I think my plans after Oxford will really depends on what is my experience at Oxford, right? So, I will only know after I finish my studies, but I think one hope that I have is definitely to return back to the country, and then I would like to focus on education side of things. So my ambition used to be Minister of Education, and then I'm also very passionate about technology, especially with AI being so developed right now. So I really want to come back and then focus something on education related to AI, making sure that everyone is well aware of the technology progress and how they can make full use of it in their daily life to remain competitive in this era. Yeah.
Can you describe your journey Lepas Sekolah in 3 words?
Okay, I would describe my Lepas Sekolah journey as growth, mainly because I think I went through a lot of times where I need to step on my comfort zone and really go through the tough process to grow. And then next is fun. I think throughout all this process, while it's very tiring, very challenging, but then it's still very fun, especially if you have a group of friends that can really, vibe with you, make jokes with you. And then the last one is tired. So because I think it is when you go for all these challenges, right? Of course, it will be quite tiring, so get enough rest. Yeah. My name is JD, and this is my journey Lepas Sekolah.